The end of conflict. Conflict and war in the world reflect conflict and war in the mind, and both this inner and this outer turmoil are born of thoughts of anger and attack. The relinquishment of anger and attack, and the practice of forgiveness are therefore essential to the realization of peace, both in the world and in ourselves. Reinterpreting anger and attack. Perhaps it will be helpful to remember that no one can be angry at a fact. It is always an interpretation that gives rise to negative emotions, regardless of their seeming justification by what appear as facts. If anger comes from an interpretation and not a fact, it is never justified. Once this is even dimly grasped, the way is open. When you are angry, is it not because someone has failed to fill the function you allotted him? And does not this become the reason your attack is justified? Without projection, there can be no anger. But it is also true that without extension, there can be no love. Accept only loving thoughts in others and regard everything else as an appeal for help. There is nothing to prevent you from recognizing all calls for help as exactly what they are, except your own imagined need to attack. If you attack error in another, you will hurt yourself. You cannot know your brother when you attack him. Attack is always made upon a stranger. You are making him a stranger by misperceiving him, and so you cannot know him. It is because you have made him a stranger that you are afraid of him. Perceive him correctly, so that you can know him. Because your attack thoughts will be projected, you will fear attack. Projection and attack are inevitably related, because projection is always a means of justifying attack. Anger without projection is impossible. Any concept of punishment involves the projection of blame, and reinforces the idea that blame is justified. The result is a lesson in blame, for all behavior teaches the beliefs that motivate it. Those whom you perceive as opponents are part of your peace, which you are giving up by attacking them. Safety is the complete relinquishment of attack. No compromise is possible in this. Teach attack in any form, and you have learned it, and it will hurt you. The strong do not attack because they see no need to do so. Before the idea of attack can enter your mind, you must have perceived yourself as weak. Everyone here has entered darkness, yet no one has entered it alone. For he has come with heaven's help within him, ready to lead him out of darkness into light at any time. The time he chooses can be any time, for help is there, awaiting but his choice. And when he chooses to avail himself of what is given him, then will he see each situation that he thought before was means to justify his anger turned to an event which justifies his love. He will hear plainly that the calls to war he heard before are really calls to peace. He will perceive that where he gave attack is but another altar where he can, with equal ease and far more happiness, bestow forgiveness. And he will reinterpret all temptation as just another chance to bring him joy. Joy goes with gentleness, as surely as grief attends attack. The perfectly safe are wholly benign. They bless because they know that they are blessed. Today, we take a stand against our anger, that our fears may disappear and offer room to love. Grievances are completely alien to love. Grievances attack love and keep its light obscure. If I hold grievances, I am attacking love, and therefore attacking myself. Without attack thoughts, I could not see a world of attack. As forgiveness allows love to return to my awareness, I will see a world of peace and safety and joy, and it is this I choose to see in place of what I look on now. The resolution of conflict and war. Conflict is sleep, and peace awakening. There must be doubt before there can be conflict, and every doubt must be about yourself. It is only the wish to deceive that makes war. No one at one with himself can even conceive of conflict. Conflict is the inevitable result of self-deception, and self-deception is dishonesty. War is the condition in which fear is born and grows and seeks to dominate. Peace is the state where love abides and seeks to share itself. Conflict and peace are opposites. Where one abides, the other cannot be. Where either goes, the other disappears. So is the memory of God obscured in minds that have become illusion's battleground. Yet far beyond this senseless war it shines, ready to be remembered when you side with peace. Only the trusting can afford honesty, for only they can see its value. Honesty does not apply only to what you say. The term actually means consistency. There is nothing you say that contradicts what you think or do. No thought opposes any other thought. No act belies your word, and no word lacks agreement with another. Such are the truly honest. At no level are they in conflict with themselves. Therefore, it is impossible for them to be in conflict with anyone or anything. In quietness are all things answered, and is every problem quietly resolved. In conflict there can be no answer and no resolution, for its purpose is to make no resolution possible, and to ensure no answer will be plain. A problem set in conflict has no answer, for it is seen in different ways, and what would be an answer from one point of view is not an answer in another light. The conflict of illusions disappears when it is brought to truth, for it seems real only as long as it is seen as war between conflicting truths. Conflict is the choice between illusions, one to be crowned as real, the other vanquished and despised. Illusions are but beliefs in what is not there, and the seeming conflict between truth and illusion can only be resolved by separating yourself from the illusion and not the truth. Illusion meets illusion, truth itself. The meeting of illusions leads to war. Peace, looking on itself, extends itself. Peace to my brother, who is one with me. A Course in Miracles suggests that we suffer from a case of mistaken identity. We have forgotten our true self, which is said to be limitless, transcendent, and eternal. Instead, we regard ourselves as an ego or separate self, limited to the body, fragile, ephemeral, and vulnerable. We therefore feel fearful and defensive, and regard the fleeting pleasures of the world as our only source of satisfaction. Although all the great religious traditions help us recognize our true self, the Course is unique in emphasizing relationships as the major means for this recognition. As we see and treat others, so do we see and treat ourselves. By recognizing the true self in others, we also find it in ourselves. A holy relationship is one that fosters this recognition and extends it in the world. The errors of ego. What is the ego but a dream of what you really are? The ego is the mind's belief that it is completely on its own. Who asks you to define the ego and explain how it arose can be but he who thinks it real, and seeks by definition to ensure that its elusive nature is concealed behind the words that seem to make it so. Errors are of the ego, and correction of errors lies in the relinquishment of the ego. Every response to the ego is a call to war, and war does deprive you of peace. Yet in this war, there is no opponent. Peace is the ego's greatest enemy because, according to its interpretation of reality, war is the guarantee of its survival. The ego becomes strong in strife. Even the wished for can become unwelcome. That must be so because the ego cannot be at peace. When you are anxious, realize that anxiety comes from the capriciousness of the ego, and know this need not be. You can be as vigilant against the ego's dictates as for them. You are one self. You are one self, complete and healed and whole, with power to lift the veil of darkness from the world. You are only love. But when you deny this, you make what you are something you must learn to remember. You need to learn to lay all fear aside and know yourself as love which has no opposite in you. Fear not to look upon the lovely truth in you. Yourself is still in peace, even though your mind is in conflict. Nothing outside yourself can save you. Nothing outside yourself can give you peace. You will yet learn that peace is part of you, and requires only that you be there to embrace any situation in which you are. And finally, you will learn that there is no limit to where you are, so that your peace is everywhere, as you are. Limit the peace you share, and yourself must be unknown to you. What we accept as what we are proclaims what everyone must be along with us. Fail not your brothers, or you fail yourself. Look lovingly on them, that they may know that they are part of you and you of them. Knowing your brother. In learning to escape from illusions, your debt to your brother is something you must never forget. Reason sees a holy relationship as what it is, a common state of mind where both give errors gladly to correction, that both may happily be healed as one. Whenever you are with a brother, you are learning what you are because you are teaching what you are. He will respond either with pain or with joy, depending on which teacher you are following. He will be imprisoned or released according to your decision, and so will you. Never forget your responsibility to him, because it is your responsibility to yourself. Look gently on your brother, and behold the world in which perception of your hate has been transformed into a world of love. We begin the journey back by setting out together, and gather in our brothers as we continue together. Every gain in our strength is offered for all, so they too can lay aside their weakness and add their strength to us. How can you find the way except by taking your brother with you? Everyone is looking for himself and for the power and glory he thinks he has lost. Whenever you are with anyone, you have another opportunity to find them. What you acknowledge in your brother, you are acknowledging in yourself, and what you share, you strengthen. It will be given you to see your brother's worth when all you want for him is peace, and what you want for him, you will receive. Look once again upon your brother, not without the understanding that he is the way to heaven or hell as you perceive him. But forget not this: the role you give to him is given you, and you will walk the way you pointed out to him, because it is your judgment on yourself. You who are the same will not decide alone or differently. Either you give each other life or death. Either you are each other's savior or his judge. Through your gratitude, you come to know your brother, and one moment of real recognition makes everyone your brother. Know your brother as yourself. Answer his call for love, and yours is answered. To know your brother is to know God. Each little gift you offer to your brother lights up the world. Nothing is asked of you but to accept the changeless and eternal that abide in him, for your identity is there. The peace in you can but be found in him, and every thought of love you offer him but brings you nearer to your awakening to peace eternal and to endless joy. When you have seen your brothers as yourself, you will be released. The quiet that surrounds you dwells in him, and from this quiet come the happy dreams in which your hands are joined in innocence. These are not hands that grasp in dreams of pain. They hold no sword, for they have left their hold on every vain illusion of this world, and being empty, they receive instead a brother's hand in which completion lies. This brother neither leads nor follows us, but walks beside us on the selfsame road. He is like us, as near or far away from what we want as we will let him be. We make no gains he does not make with us, and we fall back if he does not advance. Take not his hand in anger, but in love, for in his progress do you count your own. Have faith in him who walks with you, so that your fearful concept of yourself may change. Choose once again what you would have him be, remembering that every choice you make establishes your own identity as you will see it and believe it is. When you have become willing to hide nothing, you will not only be willing to enter into communion, but will also understand peace and joy. From the oneness that we have attained, we call to all our brothers, asking them to share our peace and consummate our joy. Let us celebrate our release together by releasing everyone with us. Let us unite in bringing blessing to the world. Our function is to work together, because apart from each other we cannot function at all. The whole power of God's Son lies in all of us, but not in any of us alone. It is through us that peace will come. The Course maintains that we are the essential instruments of peace for the world, and that our own thoughts and actions determine how deeply peace is experienced and how widely it is shared. We become the means of peace when we are willing to learn, to teach, to give, and especially to forgive. The Course is unique among spiritual paths in its emphasis on the importance of forgiveness for healing relationships. Forgiveness of both ourselves and others is said to be crucial for removing fear, anger, and all the other obstacles that distort our relationships and prevent us from experiencing peace in them. To teach is to learn. The only way to have peace is to teach peace. By teaching peace, you must learn it yourself. In the teaching-learning situation, each one learns that giving and receiving are the same. The demarcations they have drawn between their roles, their minds, their bodies, their needs, their interests, and all the differences they thought separated them from one another, fade and grow dim and disappear. All good teachers realize that only fundamental change will last, but they do not begin at that level. Strengthening motivation for change is their first and foremost goal. It is also their last and final one. Increasing motivation for change in the learner is all that a teacher need do to guarantee change. Change in motivation is a change of mind, and this will inevitably produce fundamental change because the mind is fundamental. Your past learning must have taught you the wrong things simply because it has not made you happy. On this basis alone, its value should be questioned. Understand, you but waste time unless you go beyond what you have learned to what is yet to be learned. A wise teacher teaches through approach, not avoidance. He does not emphasize what you must avoid to escape from harm, but what you need to learn to have joy. Correct and learn, and be open to learning. You have not made truth, but truth can still set you free. To give is to receive. Offer peace to have it yours. Each gift is an evaluation of the receiver and the giver. You can give yourself completely, wholly, without loss, and only with gain. Herein lies peace, for here there is no conflict. Those who offer peace to everyone have found a home in heaven the world cannot destroy, for it is large enough to hold the world within its peace. To let forgiveness rest upon all things. Where could your peace arise but from forgiveness? Forgiveness removes only the untrue, lifting the shadows from the world and carrying it safe and sure within its gentleness to the bright world of new and clean perception. There is your purpose now, and it is there that peace awaits you. Look upon the world with forgiving eyes, for forgiveness literally transforms vision and lets you see the real world reaching quietly and gently across chaos, removing all illusions that had twisted your perception and fixed it on the past. To forgive is merely to remember only the loving thoughts you gave in the past and those that were given you. All the rest must be forgotten. All that must be forgiven are the illusions you have held against your brother. Withhold forgiveness from your brother, and you attack him. You give him nothing, and receive of him but what you gave. Those you do not forgive, you fear. Forgiveness cannot be withheld a little, nor is it possible to attack for this and love for that, and understand forgiveness. Whom you forgive is free, and what you give you share. Forgive the sins your brother thinks he has committed, and all the guilt you think you see in him. Forgiveness takes away what stands between your brother and yourself. It is the wish that you be joined with him, and not apart. Who forgives is healed, and in his healing lies the proof that he has truly pardoned, and retains no trace of condemnation that he still would hold against himself or any living thing. Make way for love, which you did not create, but which you can extend. On earth, this means forgive your brother, that the darkness may be lifted from your mind. How willing are you to forgive your brother? How much do you desire peace instead of endless strife and misery and pain? These questions are the same in different form. Forgiveness is your peace. For herein lies the end of separation and the dream of danger and destruction. If you can see your brother merits pardon, you have learned forgiveness is your right as much as his. You are merely asked to see forgiveness as the natural reaction to distress that rests on error and thus calls for help. Forgiveness is the only sane response. Without forgiveness is the mind in chains, believing in its own futility. Yet with forgiveness does the light shine through the dream of darkness. The unforgiving mind is full of fear and offers love no room to be itself, no place where it can spread its wings in peace and soar above the turmoil of the world. The unforgiving mind is sad, without the hope of respite and release from pain. It suffers and abides in misery, peering about in darkness, seeing not, yet certain of the danger lurking there. An unforgiving thought is one which makes a judgment that it will not raise to doubt, although it is not true. The mind is closed and will not be released. The thought protects projection, tightening its chains, so that distortions are more veiled and more obscure, less easily accessible to doubt, and further kept from reason. An unforgiving thought does many things. In frantic action it pursues its goal, twisting and overturning what it sees as interfering with its chosen path. Distortion is its purpose, and the means by which it would accomplish it as well. It sets about its furious attempts to smash reality, without concern for anything that would appear to pose a contradiction to its point of view. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is still, and quietly does nothing. It offends no aspect of reality, nor seeks to twist it to appearances it likes. It merely looks, and waits, and judges not. There can be no form of suffering that fails to hide an unforgiving thought, nor can there be a form of pain forgiveness cannot heal. Forgiveness paints a picture of a world where suffering is over, loss becomes impossible, and anger makes no sense. Attack is gone, and madness has an end. Fear condemns, and love forgives. Forgiveness thus undoes what fear has produced. Today we practice true forgiveness, that the time of joining be no more delayed. To bring peace to the world. This world has much to offer to your peace, and many chances to extend your own forgiveness. Such its purpose is, to those who want to see peace and forgiveness descend on them, and offer them the light. You are entrusted with the world's release from pain. The part you play in salvaging the world from condemnation is your own escape. This world awaits the freedom you will give when you have recognized that you are free. What cause have you for anger in a world that merely waits your blessing to be free? Until forgiveness is complete, the world does have a purpose. It becomes the home in which forgiveness is born, and where it grows and becomes stronger and more all-embracing. Here it is nourished, for here it is needed. We will forgive them all, absolving all the world from what we thought it did to us, for it is we who make the world as we would have it. A world in which forgiveness shines on everything, and peace offers its gentle light to everyone, is inconceivable to those who see a world of hatred rising from attack, poised to avenge, to murder, and destroy. Yet is the world of hatred equally unseen and inconceivable to those who feel God's love in them. Their world reflects the quietness and peace that shines in them, the gentleness and innocence they see surrounding them, the joy with which they look out from the endless wells of joy within. What they have felt in them, they look upon and see its sure reflection everywhere. What would you see? The choice is given you. But learn, and do not let your mind forget this law of seeing. You will look upon that which you feel within. If hatred finds a place within your heart, you will perceive a fearful world, held cruelly in death's sharp-pointed bony fingers. If you feel the love of God within you, you will look out on a world of mercy and of love. If you choose to see a world without an enemy, in which you are not helpless, the means to see it will be given you. No longer is the world our enemy, for we have chosen that we be its friend. The gifts of peace. When peace is welcomed, it brings with it many gifts, among them healing, freedom, and love. Like peace, these gifts cannot be kept for ourselves alone, but rather must be shared with others, if we are to know them as our own. Healing. Peace must come to those who choose to heal and not to judge. The decision to heal and to be healed is the first step toward recognizing what you truly want. Every attack is a step away from this, and every healing thought brings it closer. Healing will flash across your open mind as peace and truth arise to take the place of war and vain imaginings. Healing is release from the fear of waking and the substitution of the decision to wake. The decision to wake is the reflection of the will to love, since all healing involves replacing fear with love. Would you not prefer to heal what has been broken and join in making whole what has been ravaged by separation and disease? You have been called, together with your brother, to the most holy function this world contains. It is the only one that has no limits and reaches out to every broken fragment of the sonship with healing and uniting comfort. You will be made whole as you make whole. No one can ask another to be healed, but he can let himself be healed and thus offer the other what he has received. Who can bestow upon another what he does not have? And who can share what he denies himself? Those whom you heal bear witness to your healing, for in their wholeness you will see your own. We will try today to find the source of healing which is in our minds. It is not farther from us than ourselves. It is as near to us as our own thoughts. So close it is impossible to lose. We need but seek it, and it must be found. Our function is to let our minds be healed, that we may carry healing to the world, exchanging curse for blessing, pain for joy, and separation for the peace of God. Peace fills my heart and floods my body with the purpose of forgiveness. Now my mind is healed. freedom. Who could be set free while he imprisons anyone? A jailer is not free, for he is bound together with his prisoner. Look about the world and see the suffering there. Is not your heart willing to bring your weary brothers rest? They must await your own release. They stay in chains till you are free. They cannot see the mercy of the world until you find it in yourself. In your freedom lies the freedom of the world. You can escape all bondage of the world and give the world the same release you found. You can remember what the world forgot and offer it your own remembering. As we offer freedom, it is given us. Love. In honesty, is it not harder for you to say, I love, than I hate? You associate love with weakness and hatred with strength, and your own real power seems to you as your real weakness, for you could not control your joyous response to the call of love if you heard it. By not offering total love, you will not be healed completely. Love always answers, being unable to deny a call for help, or not to hear the cries of pain that rise to it from every part of this strange world. The opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. Perfect love casts out fear. If fear exists, then there is not perfect love. Whenever you are not wholly joyous, it is because you have reacted with a lack of love. You have so little faith in yourself because you are unwilling to accept the fact that perfect love is in you, and so you seek without for what you cannot find without. Everyone seeks for love as you do, but knows it not until he joins with you in seeking it. The attraction of love for love remains irresistible, for it is the function of love to unite all things unto itself and to hold all things together by extending its wholeness. As you release, so will you be released. Forget this not, or love will be unable to find you and comfort you. Love's arms are open to receive you and give you peace forever. Love wishes to be known, completely understood, and shared. It has no secrets, nothing that it would keep apart and hide. Love does not seek for power, but for relationships. Truth does not struggle against ignorance, and love does not attack fear. Love can have no enemy. Be not afraid of love, for it alone can heal all sorrow. Fail not in your function of loving in a loveless place made out of darkness and deceit, for thus are darkness and deceit undone. The holiest of all the spots on earth is where an ancient hatred has become a present love. Love cannot be far behind a grateful heart and thankful mind. There is no room in us for fear today, for we have welcomed love into our hearts. We are deceived no longer. Love has now returned to our awareness, and we are at peace again, for fear has gone, and only love remains. The way to peace is open. The way to peace is open, but each of us must choose whether or not to follow it. The Course suggests, however, that our final choice is certain, since peace is truly our deepest desire, and the only alternative is to languish in dreams of pain and conflict. We can delay, but why would we want to, when on our choice rests the welfare and peace of the world, and when peace is freely available for all. The way to peace is open. There is a silence into which the world cannot intrude. There is an ancient peace you carry in your heart and have not lost. Peace is a natural heritage of spirit. Everyone is free to refuse to accept his inheritance, but he is not free to establish what his inheritance is. Peace and understanding go together, and never can be found alone. Strength and innocence are not in conflict, but naturally live in peace. Lay down your arms, and come without defense into the quiet place where heaven's peace holds all things still at last. Lay down all thoughts of danger and of fear. Let no attack enter with you. In this quiet state alone is strength and power. Here can no weakness enter, for here is no attack, and therefore no illusions. Peace is of God. You who are part of God are not at home except in His peace. Abide in peace where God would have you be. God knows you only in peace, and this is your reality. His peace surrounds you silently. God is very quiet. Look with peace upon your brothers, and God will come rushing into your heart in gratitude for your gift to Him. The peace of God passeth your understanding only in the past. Yet here it is, and you can understand it now. I want the peace of God. To say these words is nothing, but to mean these words is everything. No one can mean these words and not be healed. He cannot play with dreams, nor think he is himself a dream. He cannot make a hell and think it real. He wants the peace of God, and it is given him. For that is all he wants, and that is all he will receive. Many have said these words, but few indeed have meant them. You have but to look upon the world you see around you to be sure how very few they are. We want the peace of God. This is no idle wish. These words do not request another dream be given us. They do not ask for compromise, nor try to make another bargain in the hope that there may yet be one that can succeed where all the rest have failed. To mean these words acknowledges illusions are in vain, requesting the eternal in the place of shifting dreams which seem to change in what they offer, but are one in nothingness. There is no peace except the peace of God. Seek you no further. You will not find peace except the peace of God. Accept this fact, and save yourself the agony of yet more bitter disappointments, bleak despair, and sense of icy hopelessness and doubt. Seek you no further. There is nothing else for you to find except the peace of God.